Before we get to anything really important, let's check in with one of our listeners. No, I kid. It's Joseph from Maine. He's actually, I don't want to narrow this down because this town he says he's from, it's one of those hyphenated towns. It's got two names, and both of them sound like the town is a virgin, and they've not even got one stoplight. So I don't want to, he's probably the only Joseph in this whole town is what I'm saying. So I'll broaden it out to Maine so we don't put the finger on him. Joseph is a 19-year-old in his first semester of college. And he says, I've struggled with moving to a different town for school and not having many actual friends on campus. Don't worry, Joseph, you'll find out pretty soon in life you don't have any actual friends. But he says, but I always have two friends I can count on to cheer me up and make me forget about my loneliness, and their names are Jim Cornette and Brian Last. How about that, Brian? You're even included on this.
I'm not your friend.
Well, you're Joseph's friend, whether you like it or not.
He seems all right. I don't like being associated with you in this manner.
Well, you know, friendships make strange bedfellows. What can I say?
It's the 40th anniversary this year of when I didn't know you.
Boy, those were happy times. I'll continue with what Joseph was saying. I've seen many say that you just being a constant help people's lives feel normal. Possibly their grammar feel. I've seen many say that you just being a constant helps people's lives feel normal, and that can't be more true for me. Your talk of classic wrestling and rants about the new stuff is great. Best regards, Joseph. And he said, P.S. Can I get a Conan from Brian if this is read on the air?
Conan! He did it twice in the original video.
Does he ever answer you?
Conan or Don Callis?
Well, either one of them. If you're in the mirror and you say that 3 times, does he answer you? Yo, let me speak on this.
If I say it 3 times, I hear something rummaging around by the garbage cans outside.
Hey.
What?
That's not Conan. That's a muskrat.
Ah.
We've got a fox here on the castle.
I've never even seen a muskrat. What does it look like?
Muskrat.
There was a G.I. Joe named Muskrat in 1988, but what does a muskrat actually look like?
Well, a muskrat is a musky, smelling, rat-looking character that walks around at night.
Does it walk around on 2 feet?
Well, the captain and Tennille, according to them, they fall in love.
Isn't it? You know, it's so funny you bring them up. I was thinking about them the other day. How amazing and insipid it is that they became such big stars in the mid-70s.
Hosted their own network television program with 20-something million viewers a week.
And then just vanished. And then just gone.
Well, that's because they found out, first of all, the captain, he couldn't sail worth shit. He had no fucking license. He was a complete outlaw ship captain. They made him turn in his yachting cap. And then Tennille took off with a legitimate serviceman.
See, that's where music is like wrestling. Here we have this talented pianist who could do a lot in the studio, but has moop face, looks like shit, no personality. What do we do? Yeah. Put a captain's hat on him. And call him captain. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. But Toni Tennille, once she saw Captain Mike Rotunda, boy, she never looked back at old Daryl Dragon. No, but Toni Tennille, she could sing, and she was a comely, a fetching woman.
I didn't say she couldn't sing.
She was a handsome, striking, statuesque woman.
Did you like their music?
Well, when she's asking you to do it to her one more time, what do you think the response is going to be?
You can like the theme. You could hope for the theme, but that doesn't mean you like the music.
Well, Love Will Keep Us Together was jaunty and bouncy and filled with frivolity.
And doesn't sound like anything that coincides with the Jim Cornette we know.
Well, these things are anomalies.
Love will keep us together.
Love will keep us together. I will be there to share forever.
What did you think What did you think of the trend of like the goofy husband and the lead singer wife? Like Sonny and Cher became big on TV Right around the same time, right?
Well, that's why the captain and Tony got their shot, because it would actually Sonny and Cher was a couple of years before that.
Was it before that? Okay.
Oh yeah, Sonny and Cher. Did they debut? Hold on. I'm going to say it was 71 or 72. Captain and Tennille had no hits till 74. Google that and see when Sonny and Cher went on network television. See if I'm the 71-72 season. That's what I'm going to say.
It says here that it debuted in 1971 as a summer replacement.
Bam! Yeah.
So you were 9 years old?
Yes.
You were watching it?
Yes, because Cher knew Bob Mackie, and that made all the difference.
That made all the difference.
That made all the boy, howdy, she could stand there on network television looking like she wasn't wearing a goddamn thing and still meet standards and practices.
Was Mama Cornette loyal to a specific network?
No. It was the show was the thing. The play was the thing, Brian.
So it wasn't like we're not leaving CBS tonight. Ed Sullivan used to be on Sundays, so we have to stay here on Sundays?
No. For heaven's sake. Although Jackie Gleason was untouchable. The boom camera shot flying in over Miami, over the water into Miami Beach. Miami Beach, the greatest audience in the world. You never missed that in the Cornette household.
All right. Well, we're talking about the
captain.
captain.
Why were you distracting me? We were talking about whether the captain and Tennille actually, I think they're probably still married. They're still together, probably still happy. No?
I think one of them may be dead, but I think they broke up too. Hold on.
Well, Google that. Did one of them kill the other?
No, I don't think it was that.
I'm betting Tony strangled him.
Captain and Tennille.
Was he heavily insured?
A lot of pictures show up of just a generic white man, but he's wearing a captain's hat, so you know who it is.
As big as they were, you would have thought you would say award shows or something. Did they become monks? Did they go to Tibet?
All right. Tennille filed for divorce from Dragon in the state of Arizona on January 16th, 2014.
Son of a bitch.
After 39 years of marriage.
40 years, and finally, she had her Popeye moment?
Dragon was unaware of the termination of the marriage until he was served with the divorce papers. The divorce documents referenced health insurance or health issues.
Insurance!
And Tennille had written in her blog in 2010 that Dragon's neurological condition, known as essential tremor, was characterized by such extreme tremors that he can no longer play keyboards. This is getting sad.
Now, wait a minute. So she rides that gravy train for 40 years because she was the star in the act, but he was the business mind. He was the original fucking
captain.
The captain of the ship. He was the musical genius behind this whole thing. And then finally, he gets the tremors, he gets the trembles, the shiz aches, and he can't play the piano anymore. She can't ride that gravy train. Where were they playing? The fucking Boom Boom Room down at the Holiday Inn West?
Dragon later stated that some of his health problems were the result of errors in dosing his medication.
Oh!
In 2016, Tony Tennille...
Why do you give a man with the shakes the opportunity to pour his own fucking medicine?
I don't think that's what he said. How is that when you pulled out of what I just said?
Isn't that like putting the stroke victim in talent relations?
Let me continue here. In 2016... Now there's a throwback. That's pretty good. All right. Well, let's get off the NWA. In 2016, Tony Tennille's memoir, co-written with her niece, Caroline Tennille St. Clair, was published. In it, Tennille painted an unflattering picture of Captain Dragon and their years together, writing that he was controlling and emotionally distant. Here's a quote. I can say without exaggeration that he showed no physical affection for me during our very long marriage, she wrote, claiming that the couple always slept in separate bedrooms. Dragon and Tennille remained close friends until his death, from complications of kidney failure, January 2nd, 2019 in Prescott, Arizona. Tennille was at his side when he died.
Yeah, just not married to him. She bopped in from a spa day over at the Hilton or something to drop. Yeah, Daryl's dying. Guess I got to stop by. She got out of the last 3 years of all them trembles and shakes and everything. But she said he was emotionally distant. Well, look, he's like Gargano, Johnny Sameface. He's only got one expression. It could have been that he was looking at her with love and affection. But she just didn't know it because he made Buster Keaton look like a goddamn mime.
Maybe he just got sick of her.
Well, no, because she served him. He got served.
Well, maybe he was a nice guy and he didn't want to, he's like, okay, I'll just do my stuff, but, I don't want to disturb the marriage and upset the kids, so I will put up with Tennille.
How old were the kids after they'd been married for 40 years?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
He was born in 42. She was born... Oh, she's older than him. She was born in 1940.
Wait a minute. She was already in her mid-30s at the time that they achieved their greatest fame?
That's right.
And she's still living.
That's not really unique. I mean, actually, Blondie, Debbie Harry was like in her 30s when Blondie finally hit.
True. Very true. And she's still alive, too.
I think that's actually one of the sad things about media today, and you could say it kind of started in a lot of ways with MTV. It would have happened one way or the other, but once everything became visual, it was harder for that to happen. Debbie Harry was a beautiful looking woman, but if you see who makes it today, who gets pushed as a pop star, pop stars is really what everything is. Even country now, everything's pop. You don't have older people getting a shot usually. And if you look at how many people struggled for years and finally got a break in the 70s specifically and ended up making great music or being a part of great things, they probably wouldn't have those opportunities today.
Well, there's a wrestling similarity in that in those days, because there wasn't home video, there wasn't the internet, you couldn't see people instantly if they did something in a garage in Van Nuys. So it took years for you to work your way up to being seen, whether it was a rock band or a wrestler or an actor or whatever. In a lot of cases, it took years of going and doing bullshit shows in small places, and that's where you got experience. So by the time that you did get a break, not only were you brand new, but you actually knew what you were doing. Surprise, surprise.
I hate to go back to the Beatles because they're the biggest and best ever, but the Beatles always said what made them so good was playing in Germany, playing in that strip club every single night. Multiple sets, hours a night. They had to play. They had to become good. And, very similar to music, maybe not everyone has that kind of repetition or that amount of shows is hard to get booked, especially in some of the towns around the country right now. But with wrestling, it's the same thing. If you break into wrestling, it's hard to get booked. There aren't a lot of places to get booked. And unfortunately, the people you'll work for, will probably have bad sensibilities or at least be willing to accept other people's and just let bad shit happen. So you're surrounded by bad influences and the wrong ideas from early on.
What about if the Beatles had either just known one song and played it over and over for hours every night and nobody said anything about it? They just accepted it. Or none of them could fucking carry a tune, or somebody couldn't fucking play what, and they say, oh, it's great. And then everybody, the course of the world changes because nobody's willing to tell somebody, hey, you fucking suck. But anyhow, what were we talking about?
The Captain and Tennille.
No, before that. Oh, Joseph. Yes.
Happy birthday, Joseph.
And your amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
That's right.
It wasn't his birthday. He didn't say anything about his fucking birthday, did he?
Well, it has to come up at some point.
Well, okay, even a fucking clueless co-host is right once a year. All right.
That's right.